So, Canada is having an election right now as we're speaking, but Donald Trump has other ideas for Canada. He's actually advocating for Canada to be the 51st state of the United States of America. Well, let's take a look.
Big day, Canada. I'm on my way to go and vote. I just wanted to show you who Donald Trump is cheering for. Good luck to the great people of Canada. Thanks, Trump. Elect the man who has the strength and wisdom to do all of this if Canada becomes the cherished 51st state. I don't want to be American. And let's be real, he's not talking about Mark Carney. So I'm on my way out to go and vote right now. I really hope all Canadians that are eligible to vote get out and vote. And I really hope, if I'm being honest, you don't vote Conservative, because I don't want to be American.
Probably the most insane thing about this whole Canadian election is the fact that some Canadians believe that Pierre Poilievre is somehow like Trump. It's not true, but I will give credit to the Liberals in the media for telling that lie. And it's wild. It's probably been the biggest factor in this election, is something that's a total lie. And then I see the emotional comments because people's flight or flight goes off when they hear the name Trump, and someone told them that Poilievre is like Trump or they're friends or something, it's not true. Trump doesn't like Poilievre. Poilievre doesn't like Trump. They don't work together, unlike Mark Carney, who does work with Trump's family. Most crazy thing, definitely the fact that the media was able to plant that lie and then that Canadians actually believed it.
I don't care who wins up there. I frankly probably would do better with the Liberal than the Conservative, if you want to know the truth. But just a little while ago, before I got involved and totally changed the election, which I don't care about, probably it's to our advantage, actually. But the Conservative was leading against, I call him Governor Trudeau. The Conservative was leading by 35 points. So, so I don't know about that. I think Canada is a place like a lot of other places. If you have a good candidate, the candidate's going to win.
Donald Trump is using Canada's election day to urge Canadians to consider becoming the 51st state. He said, elect the man who has the strength and wisdom to cut your taxes in half, increase your military power, and quadruple your businesses in size with zero tariffs or taxes if Canada becomes the cherished 51st state of the United States of America. And he added, look how beautiful this landmass would be. Free access with no borders, all positives with no negatives. It was meant to be.
Canadians are not impressed after U.S. President Donald Trump said that Canada would cease to exist without the support of the United States. Here's the latest from Now Toronto. On Wednesday, Trump made the remarks in the Oval Office.
That's why I asked Trudeau, why are we spending $200 billion to subsidize Canada? And he was unable to answer the question. And if we didn't spend that money, as Trudeau told me, they would cease to exist.
He also said that the U.S. is working on a deal with Canada. Following this, some people have taken to social media to share their thoughts. Many are offended by the comments and feel that Canada does not need the United States. We do not need America. We can build a strong economy through more reliable trade partners, one person said, while others say that Canada is too reliant on the U.S. Is anything he said not factually true? We are dependent on the U.S. for our economy and national defense.
Canadians have a message for Trump.
No, never. Sorry. Trump should think maybe about becoming one of our provinces.
Who picks a fight with Canada? We love everybody, so it's kind of weird.
It would be ludicrous and hilarious if it was John Goodman saying it in a movie.
I mean, I think it's pretty dumb on America's part, but I feel like it's kind of stupid to exile your number one alliance.
It's not going to happen. I mean, why would a country give up their sovereignty to join another country, really? And as a state, not even equal partnership? I mean, come on.
Canada were friends with the Americans, and now we're all being very cautious.
Canadians would never agree to even consider that concept.
It's not going to happen. No, I personally, I'd leave before it happened.
I think it's really dumb, to be honest. I don't understand why that's even a question.
I think it's a joke, and I think it's unfortunate. There's always been a good relationship, so I find it unnecessary.
But we aren't going to go with you. Ever, ever, ever.
Did Donald Trump just tell Canadians on election day to join and become the 51st state? This morning, Donald Trump just dropped the bomb on all Canadians, telling us that we should join the U.S., and quadruple our business if we give up being a country. He says no more boundaries, no borders that were designed hundreds of years ago that don't make any sense, no taxes, and just join the 51st state. Oh, and of course he picked election day to tell us. Trump claims that Americans have been subsidizing Canada for far too long, to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars. And it only makes sense to have these subsidies if we were actually part of the US. This isn't just interference, right? This is Trump trying to buy Canada on the promise of cheap gas and free military. But is this patriotism, or is Trump actually right? Would you trade Canada's independence for no taxes, no tariffs, and a free military? Comment below.
Trump doesn't realize that the American flag is at risk if we do end up adding a 51st state like Canada. The American flag is doomed. Where the f*** are we going to fit a 51st star? Ugh. Ugh. Man, it's going to look awful. Right now it's like super cute and organized in the top left corner and like grid-like fashion. Cute little 50 stars. Where the f*** is a 51st going to go?
So Donald Trump just said Canadians should want to be annexed by America for better health care, even though Canadians have free health care. Here's what he said at a press conference this morning, quote, "I would love to see Canada become the 51st state. The Canadian citizens would have much better health coverage. I think the people of Canada would like it," end quote. First of all, Canadians have universal health care, which is a foreign concept to us in America, but in Canada, Canadians' tax dollars actually pay for their health care. So Donald Trump is obviously incorrect when he says Canadians would have better health coverage in America, when in fact all that would happen is that they would lose their free health care and then would start getting ripped off by health insurance companies like the rest of us do in this country. Not to mention, Donald Trump has still yet to unveil his healthcare plan. So what exactly type of healthcare coverage would Canadians be receiving under your administration? Finally, Canada is an independent country that has no interest in joining America. So please, Donald, leave them and their universal healthcare alone.
Trump is getting serious about Canada becoming part of the United States. He said yesterday that he's going to put economic pressure on Canada to become part of the United States, and that's because the United States is sending over $200 billion a year to Canada. Now, Trump's come out and said that they can't afford to do that with a $36 trillion deficit, and therefore the only way that Canada will survive is if it becomes part of the United States. Now, it seems like this kind of makes sense. Like, why would you send $200 billion a year to another country when you're in so much debt yourself? Trump wants to sort out the debt problem. This is only one of the ways that he's going to do it. He's going to reduce his spending with other countries and focus on the United States. Now, if Canada want to become part of that great country, that great nation, and thrive and prosper with the money that's in the United States, then they have to become part of the States. And I personally think it would be amazing. It'd be a great superpower. It's economical. It just makes sense. What do you think?
The focus is back on Canada. Today they have their general elections, and these were called last month, which is a snap election put forward by the Liberal Party. And you've got the new candidate, Mark Carney, that's pushing to become the Prime Minister. On the other side, you have the Conservatives with a guy called Pierre Poilievre, and they're both fighting it out. And a lot of the talk is how are they going to deal with Donald Trump? Well, Donald Trump has kept a bit quiet on Canada because he made it very vocal how they will become the 51st state. And he's just taken to social media again just to stir things up. However, this will happen if you actually look what is being offered. It is a no-brainer, and it will benefit the Canadian people, the Canadian businesses, and North America as a whole, including America. It'll be a super force. So this is what he's put, and people will be fighting against this. There's only one outcome. Good luck to the great people of Canada. Elect the man who has the strength and wisdom to cut your taxes in half. Increase your military power for free to the highest level in the world. Have your car, steel, aluminium, lumber, energy, and all other businesses quadruple in size with zero tariffs or taxes. If Canada becomes the cherished 51st state of the United States of America. No more artificially drawn line from many years ago. Look how beautiful this landmass will be. Free access with no border, all positives with no negatives. It was meant to be. America can no longer subsidize Canada with hundreds of billions of dollars a year that we have been spending in the past. It makes no sense unless Canada is a state. you can see it's only going to go in that direction. So it'll be all eyes on Canada. Whoever wins is still going to fall in the hands of America, and it will become a superpower of the world.
Today is the final day in Canada's voting. Now, Canada's election is fascinating because a few months ago, before Trump became the world's worst president in history, Canada looked like they were about to elect a conservative government. All the polls were way, way far right. And thanks to Donald Trump's complete horrible wretchedness as a president, those polls have now shifted, and it looks likely that the Liberals will win the majority in Canada. This kind of shift, based on what's happening in this country affecting another country, is kind of unprecedented. And I'm really, really hoping that Canada pulls through. I believe in Canada. I think that they're going to do the right thing and reject conservatism and stay with the Liberals. And just as a point of reference for Americans who might not know anything differently, most of the world actually associates the color red with liberalism and blue with conservatism. And in the United States, we actually also used to use red for the Democrats and blue for the Republicans. But back in the 1980s, I think when Ronald Reagan became president, there was a shift and red became the color of MAGA. Well, it became the color of Republicans and now obviously is associated with MAGA. But the rest of the world sees red as a liberal color. So if you see a news report from Canada today and they're showing maps that are red, that actually means that the left has won. Okay. Good luck, Canada. We're counting on you.
It's election day in Canada, and of course Trump's got to make it about him, because, can't have a single day go by where it's not about him. Good luck to the great people of Canada. Elect the man who has the strength and wisdom to cut your taxes in half, increase military power for free to the highest level in the world. Have your car, steel, aluminum, lumber, energy, and all other businesses quadruple in size with zero tariffs or taxes if Canada becomes the cherished 51st state of the United States of America. No more officially drawn lines from many years ago. Look how beautiful this landmass would be. Free access with no border. All positives with no negatives. It was meant to be. America no longer subsidize Canada with hundreds of billions of dollars a year that we have been spending in the past. Makes no sense unless Canada is a state. Could somebody please get Grandpa and put him back to bed? Because he was obviously, up all night tweeting again, and is off his meds.
What I can just say, when the deal sounds good, you gotta think twice. I don't see the reason why Canada should join the United States as the 51st state. I think the independence that Canada enjoys is just enough. Even though they might have their ups and downs, I think it's something that they can sit down and figure out how they can run their own state rather than joining the United States. As articulated before, things like a figured out universal healthcare system, which is allegedly better than the United States one, and I think it's true because United States, oh my god, the healthcare there is insane, and health insurance ripping people off. Canada, just stick to your guns. Like, you just be independent. Do not accept to be part of the 51st state of the United States. Do not. Anyways, this seems to be very interesting, and I find it very decent topic to talk about, and I'm welcoming you to join the debate. So give your thoughts in the comment section down there below.